now.
I can't believe she started off with the reality is coming to me talk. And the fact that they're all laughing about that immediately is good. Straight away. In fact, Tarasi, I thought Caitlin Clark was going to have to mention a reality thing. I was like, Caitlin, please say reality. The first thing Tarasi says is reality is coming to me after the reality is coming last year.
What's your big plans? What are you going to do?
You know, I keep telling Sue I thought I was going to have all this time to do all these things. I'm more busy now. So if I give you any advice, play as long as possible.
We'll see. We'll get to 10 years. Then we'll think about it.
According to reporting from The Athletic, Sue Bird is set to become managing director of the USA women's national basketball team, a move being welcomed as a positive step for the program's direction going forward. The appointment comes amid ongoing criticism of how USA basketball handled roster decisions in the past, particularly the decision to leave Caitlin Clark off the Olympic roster last year.
We'll get to 10 years. Then we'll think about it.
Get to 10 years. All right, so the second half's about to start. I know you've been watching the first half. What have you seen so far?
Well, I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game there from the first 5 minutes.
All right, so we're just going to stop the game talk because the game is the game. We've all seen the game.
I think they put this up there earlier, like Tessa Johnson comes off the bench maybe for us.
Yeah, I mean, Sue mentioned it earlier. South Carolina doesn't have that low post presence. That makes it so hard to play against them. And, you know, Connecticut plays a lot like you guys did. Undersized, spread the wealth, move it around, and they're pushing the pace, and South Carolina doesn't like it. Caitlin, you had an amazing rookie season. Like, you just blew everyone out of the water.
Critics argued the exclusion made little sense given Clark's caliber of play as a rookie, pointing out that other players, including Candace Parker and Diana Taurasi, have made USA rosters as first-year professionals in the past. The explanation offered at the time, that Clark hadn't gone through the standard training camp process due to her college commitments, was widely disputed as an inadequate justification for excluding one of the sport's most prominent and popular players.
Caitlin, you had an amazing rookie season. Like, you just blew everyone out of the water. When you watch Paige play and you see her in the next level, what are the things that obviously she's going to take to the WNBA and it's going to translate instantly? And what are the things that, you know, it takes you a couple games to get used to?
At least Caitlin has not said the reality is going to come for Paige.
I think her poise, like, that's something you need coming into the W. It, like, all hits you so fast. Is like, you're moving to a new city, you're trying to understand new teammates, you have a new coach, while you're trying to live up to all these expectations. And I think that's, like, one of the greatest things about her game is just her poise and her maturity, and nothing ever seems to phase her. And, you know, it's just always the same. She's always the same constant leader. So I think it'll be that for her, but also, like, she can score at all 3 levels. Like,
supporters of the decision to bring Bird into a leadership role argue that growing the sport commercially requires putting the league's biggest draws on the largest stages, including the Olympics, rather than prioritizing internal program politics over visibility and star power. The reasoning follows that a league seeking increased media coverage, ticket sales, and revenue benefits from showcasing its most popular athletes on high-profile platforms like the Olympics, rather than sidelining them.
she finishes well around the rim. Her mid-range game is some of the best I've honestly ever seen. And, you know, obviously she can score from three-point line too. So I think all of that. And then she can play point guard, but she can also play off the ball. I think that'll be an interesting dynamic with Enrique. Obviously, we all know she's going number 1. So it'll be interesting to see how they kind of.
I love how Gaten's like, well, we know she's going number 1. So, yeah.
Put those two pieces together and how that'll work.
Yeah, so bad news for South Carolina. UConn is 90-2 in the NCAA tournament when leading by double digits at halftime. So just want to get that little fun stat, which is obviously, says something about...
Media personalities, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp were among those who publicly criticized the previous roster decision, comparing it to leaving a transformative star off a marquee national team lineup purely on procedural grounds.
Says something about Coach Auriemma. Caitlin, you have battled against UConn throughout. Yeah. I mean, you faced them, 3 times in the NCAA tournament? 2?
Twice in the NCAA tournament, and then I think we played them 3 times total. We played them 1 time in a Thanksgiving tournament and the Phil Knight tournament out in Portland, which was really fun. We lost there too. Right. AZ had 1,000 points versus us. It was crazy. It was one of those nights where she got really hot, but lost my freshman year in the Sweet 16, and then won last year in the Final Four.
Right. So when you play against a Coach Auriemma coached team, what kind of beast is that?
Well, I think they just are so disciplined. That's just, they're going to do what they do. They're going to do it really well.
With Bird now stepping into a decision-making role for the program, there's optimism that future roster construction will better reflect both on-court merit and the broader goal of growing the sport's audience. Some have also called for additional leadership changes within the program, including at the coaching level, as part of a broader shift in how the national team is run going forward.
They're going to do what they do. They're going to do it really well. And also I think, for myself, facing his teams, they always had some of the best scouts against me. You can tell how smart he is.
Yeah.
He understands the game. He's coached against so many really good players. And, there were games I would go into and, the scouts were just it was just come on. Why are you going under ball screens? Why are you in drop coverage? But, he just made it difficult. He would throw different defenders at me. And obviously having Nika Mule last year, she's probably one of the better defenders that I've faced. She's just up in your grill. She'll pick you up 94 feet.
She's not wrong there. Nika Mule literally got drafted I saw a ranking.
Reports have surfaced from fans alleging that several WNBA players failed to appear at a paid meet-and-greet event, despite presumably receiving some form of compensation for their scheduled appearance. This comes shortly after All-Star Weekend, during which Caitlin Clark was notably visible at multiple fan-facing events, including a Nike appearance, various meet-and-greets, and time spent with a local high school team, despite skipping the three-point contest and portions of the orange carpet.
I saw a ranking where it was like Nika Mule was literally ranked as like the 15th, or it was like the 20th best point guard in NCAA Division 1. She nearly became a first-round pick just because she did a good job on Caitlin Clark. Just like Raven Johnson Raven Johnson last year had first-round talks for this year. Raven Johnson might be a W player, but if you're taking Raven Johnson with a first-round pick, either this year or next year, you are crazy.
But then he just always has an answer, has different people, and I think that's one of the best things about him. Like, he has one game plan, but then he has something in his back pocket that he can go to, and that's going to bother.
Some now speculate whether frustration over other players' lack of engagement with fans may have influenced her decision to scale back participation in certain league events.
One game plan, but then he has something in his back pocket that he can go to, and that's going to bother you again.
Caitlin, how excited are you for this next WNBA season? New head coach and Stephanie White. You're adding Natasha Howard, who knows really well, DeWanna Bonner, which I know really well, Sophie Cunningham. I mean, it seems like, from the outside, this roster's ready to compete now, which is easy for us to say. We know there's a process to get there, but like when you see that, you see those names come in, what does that make you feel like?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously on paper we have a really good team, but you only have, we start training camp I think on the 27th, and then like we have a back-to-back of preseason games on May 3rd and May 4th. So it's like you have a very short amount of time to put that together. And
A widely shared post described a family's experience waiting over 2 hours in line to meet featured athletes, only for those players to arrive roughly 40 minutes late, sign autographs for about 10 minutes, and leave shortly after, a pattern the poster said repeated multiple times throughout the weekend, leaving their children in tears after hours of waiting with no real interaction.
In the history of the NBA, of course, the Dallas Mavericks sent him to the Lakers. Yes, the Dallas Mavericks got awarded with Cooper Flag. I get that, but at the time, no doubt about it, the Dallas Mavericks got crushed in the dust. Dallas Mavericks were furious, but it's scary to hear the insight, the take that Stephanie White's got involving an all-world kind of superstar player like Luka. If this is how she feels about somebody like Luka not being in a...
The post specifically praised Clark as one of the few players who honored every scheduled obligation, describing her giving away merchandise, signing autographs, hugging fans, and competing energetically in an associated skills event, despite the family reportedly spending over $2,700 on 6 tickets.
Lineup, being on the court, then she's not the right coach. All right? And it echoes what her mentor said about the Indiana Fever being more dangerous than without Caitlin Clark. And I really do wonder. That was in my video earlier, by the way. Carolyn Peck of ESPN is her mentor. She played for Carolyn Peck. And I've got to be honest. Did Stephanie White say that?
The poster expressed disappointment in several unnamed other players, while affirming that Clark clearly understands the impact fans have on a career and came across as genuine.
And I've got to be honest. Did Stephanie White say that to Carolyn Peck in a conversation? I think we're more dangerous without Caitlin Clark. I don't know. I'm just speculating out loud. And that's complete speculation, but nonetheless, if you think these people don't still talk to each other all the time, you're out of your mind. This was Caitlin Clark yesterday. Come on, let's have some emotion.
Reaction to this account has amplified broader criticism of the league, with commentary suggesting that fans who pay significant money for these experiences deserve better and, in cases of no-shows, potential refunds.
Come on, let's have some emotion. Let's have some emotion during this loss. The team was lifeless. It feels like Stephanie White sucked the life out of this team, and I got to tell you, I will show you the new WNBA ad involving Caitlin Clark. It's badass. It's a year or two late, but it's badass nonetheless. I got to tell you, I wonder.
Frustration is expressed that this kind of experience discourages fan loyalty and contributes to the league's ongoing struggle to build a strong supporter base, especially when so many fans go out of their way to show up and spend money supporting the players.
I wonder. I don't know why Stephanie White stepped aside multiple times this year. I don't know what was going on. I haven't speculated, but I just wonder how happy she is really coaching this team. I do wonder because, look, there's a ton of pressure on her. There is, rightfully so. This is America's team, and this is America.
Additional comments highlighted Clark's consistent habit of signing autographs immediately after warm-ups before games, with the suggestion that fans sitting near the front row at her games are very likely to receive an autograph directly from her during pregame routines.
Rightfully so. This is America's team, and this is America's sweetheart, Caitlin Clark. She's going to mess this up. The franchise is going to mess it up. And I got to tell you right now, I think Indiana is the best place for Caitlin Clark. I do. In the Midwest, Iowa's not that far away. I mean, the only other place I would believe that Caitlin Clark would be is wonderfully accepted would be Dallas because of, well, it's Dallas. All right. If they had a franchise in Houston, I'd say.
The broader sentiment expressed is that her level of fan engagement is rare compared to experiences with other athletes.
If they had a franchise in Houston, I'd say the same thing there. But in that middle America part of the country or in the South, like if they had a team in Florida or someplace like that, I could see it as well. I think this is the right spot for her. I cannot imagine that they are literally going to stick with a coach and allow Caitlin Clark to get so frustrated that she wants a trade out of town. And that's what's going to happen. If they're not careful.
The overall takeaway framed Clark's consistent effort with fans as a meaningful reflection of her personal character and brand, emphasizing how much value she places on ensuring fans have a positive, memorable experience.
She's going to ask for a trade. Stephanie White, right here, talking about Luka.
A wrist sprain in that game and has been out since. And that puts a lot on the plate of players like Spencer Dinwiddie, who just came in, who finds Marshall for the corner three.
Well, you see the Mavs just play differently without Luka on the floor. He's a guy who's high usage rate, the ball's in his hands. When he's not on the floor, that ball is moving, it's popping. Multiple players getting involved in action, and everyone's stepping up.
Okay,
Viewers were invited to share their thoughts in the comments.